तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. I'll chant the Mangalacharan. Vasudevendra Yogendram Natva Jnanapradam Gurum Mumukshunam Hitarthaya Tattvabodho Bhidhiyate. And the Vastu Sangrah Vakya. Sadhan Chatushta Sampann Adhikarinam Moksha Sadhan Bhutam Tattva Viveka Prakaram Vakshamaha. We in our Satsang, we are studying the text Tattva Vivek, and the Acharya Bhagwan Adi Shankar has said, for that, as an Avikari, you have to have fourfold qualifications. And in the fourfold qualifications, the first one is Nitya Anitya Vivek. And Nitya Anitya Vivek is that Nitya Vastavekam Brahma Tad Vatiriktam Sarvam Anityam. The reality alone is eternal. Brahman, the reality alone is eternal. Everything else is ephemeral, anitya. That is one part. So that forms part of our fourfold qualification. That's the first qualification, and that is to know what is nitya and what is anitya. So nitya is that which is eternal, doesn't perish. Anitya is that which is constantly changing and perishing. How many things do you think are not changing? Have you identified so far? Yeah, Anuji, boliye.
Yes, Atma.
But do you know the Atma?
We're learning.
So, question is, how many things do you know? So,
I think everything changes.
Everything changes. So, everything is anitya. And so, this is where we are going to pause. And that is, what is Tattvavivek? Tattvavivek kaha Atma Satyam Tad Anyat Sarvam Mithyeti. Atma, what is Tattvavivek? Which is what we are studying. Only Atma is Satya and everything else is Mithya, unreal. And the classic distinction between Atma, which is Satya, and everything else, which is Mithya, is that whereas Atma cannot be negated, it does not change, all others, which even though they may exist, get negated sometime or the other. Right? So, because we are studying Tattvavivek, and this is how it is defined as Atma, which is Satya, and everything else which is Mithyeti. So question arises, what is Atma? And that has also been defined. And in three ways. One way is what it is not. Second way, where it always is. And third is what is the nature of Atma. Right? So what it is not is, it is not the gross, subtle and causal body. And where it always is, it is always the sakshi of waking, dream and deep sleep states. Sakshi means witness of. It is always there in these three states. And what is its Swarup, we'll do later on. It is Satchidananda. We'll do that later on. So right now why I'm pausing is that this is a time when you just roll over everything and see whether you understood the concepts. Because if you have not understood, then everything else will be just reading only without being able to feel a part of it. before I go ahead, Anilji, it seems you are traveling once again. You are in a train or you are
in flight in Lucknow, and this flight is getting preponed, so it may take off at 6:45.
So therefore I am requesting you, please contribute before you take off to make us better understand what Atma is.
So देखिए, if we start from the definition of Atma,
Yeah.
पहला definition ये है कि it is नित्य, unchanging, सत्य.
जी हाँ.
सबके means it doesn't change. और उसको हम negate भी नहीं कर सकते हैं. और बाकी सब चीज change हो रही है. अगर बहुत ही simple, if we watch it from a very simple perspective, the world ceases to exist. जैसे ही हम ड्रीम में जाते हैं तो ये जो दुनिया बाहर की है ये बंद हो जाती है, निगेट हो जाती है. फिर डीप स्लीप में हम जाते हैं तो इवन द ड्रीम वर्ल्ड गोज अवे. तो निगेशन वाले प्रिंसिपल से अगर हम चलेंगे तो दिस वर्ल्ड एंड द ड्रीम वर्ल्ड सीजेस टू एग्जिस्ट इन द डीप स्लीप. और डीप स्लीप में भी हम साक्षी को निगेट नहीं कर सकते, जो ये है कि अवस्था त्रय साक्षी. तो जैसे अभी भी मैं इंटरव्यू पढ़ रहा था सरला टैगोर का. शी सेज 55 साल पहले ये फिल्म हमने शूट की थी एंड इट लुक्स लाइक यस्टरडे. क्योंकि साक्षी के लिए समय है ही नहीं. हम सबको ये लगता है, यू नो हाउ टाइम फ्लाइज बाय, बिकॉज देयर इज समथिंग जिस पे बचपन आया, यूथ आया, अब एल्डरली एज आई है, समथिंग विच इज अनचेंजिंग. So this is from the point of view of नित्य एंड अवस्था त्रय साक्षी. उसके पहले जो उन्होंने बताया कि भाई आत्मा का में वो स्थूल शरीर नहीं है, सूक्ष्म शरीर नहीं है, पंचकोश अभी अरुण जी बताएंगे आगे जब ये, वो भी नहीं है, और वो साक्षी है. तो इस डेफिनेशन से अगर हम चलते हैं तो देयर इज समथिंग विच इज अनचेंजिंग. ये हम खुद एक्सपीरियंस कर सकते हैं हमारी लाइफ में. लाइक आई एम 59 प्लस, तो on my own I can say there is something inside me which doesn't change and which is totally unaffected with whatever happens. Because अगर हम unaffected है तभी हम कह सकते हैं कि हम सुखी हैं या दुखी हैं. तो सुख और दुख मन के हैं, सूक्ष्म शरीर के हैं. लेकिन there is some neutral force, power which is observing. फिर वो साक्षी वाली बात है. तो अगर हमारे पास चॉइस है कि हम अपने आप को इस बॉडी से आइडेंटिफाई करें और फिर बॉडी के बेसिस पर जो दुनिया भर की रिलेशनशिप्स हैं, कि मेरा बैंक बैलेंस इतना है कि यू नो मैं फादर हूँ, कि मैं सन हूँ, कि भाई हूँ. दिस इज ऑल बेस्ड ऑन द वर्ल्ड एंड दिस बॉडी. और मैं बॉडी नहीं हूं, जैसा आचार्य कह रहे हैं. आई एम द ऑब्जर्वर. बॉडी तो चेंज हो रही है हर पल. सिमिलरली आई एम नॉट द माइंड. जो मेरे थॉट्स और इमोशंस आ रहे हैं वो चेंज होते जा रहे हैं. और मुझे ये भी पता है कि देयर इज समथिंग इनसाइड मी व्हिच इज अनचेंजिंग. नाउ इफ all this gets negated, what remains? That is Atma. And that is that awareness. That's this is how I would summarize from Nitya Anitya Vivek and Atma का ये जो दो तरीके से आचार्य ने, भगवान शंकराचार्य ने जो definitions दिए हैं, and basing it on my own body, observing my body, my mind, and the observer in deep sleep, which is also there in the waking state and in the dream state. Arunji, this is how I would kind of summarize.
Wonderful, Ji, wonderful. Thank you, Anilji. So I asked Anilji to share his thoughts because he would be flying very soon. I wanted to catch him before that. So, अब क्या है? There are a few things I keep on mentioning. There are certain laws, right, that we must keep in mind. Why I'm now going through all this again is that I want to logically show to you where Atma is and where we are looking. But before that, any questions that come to your mind or any thoughts that come to your mind, Ira and Anuji, that you would like to share? Yeah, Ira?
Yeah, I had a question. So, as all of us are on a path to awakening, whatever we want to call the path, I actually have a kind of a contrary observation, which I think I am experiencing.
Yeah, please.
As that, as things are unfolding, the observer, I'm getting a different experience constantly.
No problem, tell me.
So that's like when we say Sakshi, who's observing all of this, that the world is no Maya, all the things that we discussed, that as the observer is observing and understanding more, I don't know if I'm putting it right, that I feel that observation as it's changing, so I feel like the Atma that is observing is also getting a different experience of observation. So I don't know if it's right or not, or am I reading too much between it? So what I want to understand is that as we are on our journey of awakening, how can the Atma, I understand is constant, but as we are realizing more of the Atma, that existence of the Atma, the experience of the world is changing constantly. So is that the correct way of looking at it, or?
Just one thing. So,
I'm getting that experience of constant, right? When you're saying unchanging, I am feeling that I've already learned so much, and there's so much more to learn, and that experience is changing, so that unchanging experience I'm not getting.
Yeah, good, excellent. Thank you very much. That's very, very important that we voice these concerns, these doubts. Otherwise, we will not get this. So, I'll repeat what I have understood Ira is saying. She is saying we are talking of an unchanging Atma. But as I am getting more and more exposed, I am aware of the changing world. I am aware, I am experiencing the change. Then how is it that we are saying that Atma is not changing? It is experiencing the change. Right? So this is what I have understood, and she is nodding her head, so it means she agrees. Yes, Anuji.
Arunji, from what Ira said, you think it has something to do with Prameya and Pramata? Because we learn that the Prameya is the self, the Atma. Because I think what she's feeling is changing her perspective as we are reading on. Is perspective of the Pramata.
Yeah.
And this is what I would make out of what Ira is saying.
Yeah, good. So, I'll talk about this. Ira, have you gone through the beginning recordings?
No, not all.
Okay, if you go through the initial 1, 2 and things, then where Anuji is talking about comes from there. And incidentally, she was sharing with me yesterday. She is also revising by listening to them again. So she is ahead of the curve, and therefore able to recall all that. Okay. So yes, Anuji, you are right. but we'll have to go slow, and so that we are all on the same page. Now, as I was saying, I'll stick to what I was saying, and then we'll address this question. There are certain laws. Now, the first thing is a definition that will not change. You can have doubts about it, you can question about it, but that definition will remain. What is the definition? Atma Satyam. So, Satyam means it is existing and unchanging. Right? Now, when it is unchanging, it implies that it is one. Is that open to discussion, or is it something you have swallowed?
It is one means everyone's Atma is one.
Sorry? Atma, whatever it is, if it is unchanging and it exists, then it is one. There is, okay. If there is a change, then something else will happen. Then it becomes two, something different. When there is no change, then it is one. Think again, ask again. I am not still saying it alone is, but if it implies it alone is. But I'll stick to only one right now. If it is unchanging and it is existing, then it is one. It is not two, it is not three, it is not many. It is only one.
Means everyone's Atma is the same.
Don't go into that. Whatever Atma is, let it be something which we are trying to understand. So that which we are trying to understand, if the definition is that it exists and it is unchanging, or rather it is not negated ever. Like for instance, Abhi Anilji ne kaha, when you are in dream, your waking is negated. When you are in deep sleep, even your dream is negated. And when you are awake, both dream and deep sleep are negated. Atma is never negated. That is the definition. So if it is never negated and it exists, I am saying it is one.
अरुण जी,
हाँ जी।
इसके पहले भी अगर थोड़ी सी अपन बात करें कि जैसे जो वेकिंग वर्ल्ड है सबका डिफरेंट है, ड्रीम वर्ल्ड भी सबका डिफरेंट है, बट स्लीप वर्ल्ड सबका एक है।
जी हाँ।
ये कल डू यू एग्री ना that dream world means everything collapses into darkness, nothing is there. That is one. It is homogeneous.
Yeah, it's the same experience everyone gets.
Everyone gets the same experience of deep sleep. Now, this is, and since that itself is one, darkness itself is one. The consciousness जिसके absence से darkness हो रही है, वो दो कैसे हो सकती है? अगर shadow एक है, तो cause दो कैसे हो सकते हैं? इस तरीके से भी अगर आप सोचेंगे तो वो oneness की तरफ, वो unchanging एक ही हो सकता है, which is the common thing between all different states.
So, what Anilji is saying, I'll take up from there, the concept of oneness. You can have a glimpse in the deep sleep. Glimpse तो हो रहा है ना आपको कि there is something which is one. That experience of deep sleep is one and common to all. This glimpse you are getting. Now all I am saying is, you still don't know what is Atma. So I am saying, first and foremost, try and understand the fact that Atma exists and it is unchanging means it is one. If not, you argue logically.
So then why don't we sleep more?
Sorry?
Okay,
No, don't confuse Atma with sleep.
I understand you're getting a glimpse of it.
You are getting a glimpse of it. I am only saying, therefore, if you have got a glimpse, then you know something like one exists. Right? So here I am saying that because of the definition that Atma is existing and unchanging, not negated ever, it is one. Now note it down somewhere, think about it, come back tomorrow. If you can come with a counter argument that no, there can be two Atmas. Right? So we'll take the hypothesis and then try and see if we arrive at a funny conclusion. ये होता है ना ज्योमेट्री में ऐसे ही करते हैं ना. Let us assume this is true and then we say no, this cannot be because we have come to a weird conclusion, or yes, the conclusion is correct, वगैरह वगैरह. So I am saying it is one. It is not. So characteristics क्या क्या हो गई? It exists, it is non-negatable and it is one. ठीक है? And then it is complete. It is Purna. Purna means complete. It is complete. This also follows from this, whatever we have assumed. And if you don't agree, think about it. Tomorrow come with a counter argument. No, there can be something which is one. There is something which can be, which is not negated, but it is not complete. And then you give your proof for that. How you are coming to that conclusion. My conclusion is based on the fact that which is non-negatable and it exists has to be Purna. Because if it is not Purna, then wherever it stops, there it changes and it becomes negated over there. My submission is based on this. Is it clear, Ira? So, Atma is existing, it is non-negatable, it is one, and it is complete. Now I am going to say something which is a technical word called adhistan, substratum. It is the substratum for everything else. What do I mean by substratum? Yes, Anuji, you are muted.
Basically, the base on which everything else is happening.
Yes. So, substratum is that whatever is happening, but that is the base. You remove the base, everything collapses. What is the substratum for a wave? The wave in an ocean, what is the substratum for that?
Water.
Water or the ocean. In fact, water is the substratum even of the ocean. Isn't it? So, this way, you have to understand that substratum is that on the basis of which everything is. So, I am saying, having understood Atma as one, non-negatable, complete, and not modifiable. Unnegatable also means not modifiable. Therefore, it is the substratum for everything else. What do you understand by that?
Basically, I mean, it's what forms up. I mean, like everything now, like from it, everything originates.
Yes. So the law is the cause generates an effect. Right? Remove the cause, the effect disappears. Remove the water, the ocean will also disappear, the wave will also disappear. So substratum, if Atma is removed, everything disappears. This is what I am trying to say. By saying it is a substratum. Right? So now, if somebody is experiencing something, it will undergo some change. Hira? Experience will generate a change. I think you agree or not? So, perforce, there is no experience in Atma. This is something you have to understand very well. When you say I am experience, sorry?
Yeah, what question is witnessing and experience.
Yeah. So, the difference between witnessing and experience is there is a motor car on the road, somebody is crossing the street and he gets knocked down. He has experienced the accident. There is somebody who is standing on the side, he has seen it. So he is a witness. The person who knocked down is the experiencer. The difference is clear? Yes, Anuji.
Arunji, I mean, like we've been saying that Atma is a witness and is not, but then we also talk about how our previous everything gets passed on, it's imprinted. So that means it's experiencing the thing also. It can't be just start witness.
The previous thing cannot be?
Like our previous
Birth.
births. We say now we carry the impressions of those as well.
Huh.
So, but if it's just a witness, I think it's only when you experience would you be able to kind of carry it from previous births, isn't it?
So now you see what we do. Now we are confusing impressions with Atma. We are carrying the impressions. You just now said. We are carrying the impressions. And now you say, okay, therefore, Atma is that one which is... Impression is not Atma.
Is that? I said, but they are there on Atma, na? The impressions.
Everything is on Atma. So let's not say impressions are there or they are not there. But impressions are impressions. They are not Atma.
Confusing them and very clear.
So then... What is carried is the impression.
Yeah.
That there is a full stop. Now what's your question?
No, it's answered.
It's answered. Okay. Be sure I'm going to ask you about it tomorrow. Okay. So this much is clear or not? I'm going to go very slow on this because this is a very important topic. If this is understood, I said it yesterday also, then Vedanta is a cakewalk. But if this is not understood, then you will keep struggling as we people are struggling. We keep on reading and keep on speaking, but we don't understand Vedanta. And it is difficult for everybody because this concept is not clear. So Atma becomes a concept. I want right now in this satsang, we should be able to be very clear about it and let it not remain in the area of concept. So come again with questions tomorrow. I have given you a lot of food for thought. Atma is one, Atma is non-negated, it is existent, it is the substratum for everything, it doesn't change, right? And Ira started with that it is changing. So I am saying it doesn't change. So now you have to think about all this, build up a model where you say Atma is changing. Your question should instead be who is experiencing? So experience is changing. Who is experiencing? That should be the question. So we'll try and answer these things, but you also think. Right? So I'll say the concluding prayer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Thank you everyone.